It's time for Inside the Patch with your Las Vegas Raiders. Here's Gnarley Charley.
Welcome to Inside the Patch. It's Gnarley Charley along with Mitch Adams and our special guest, Jeff Barnes. Jeff was in Los Angeles as a linebacker for the Raiders. And there was a guy named Antonio Pierce that lived in L.A., and he was a high school player looking up to the Raiders. And now it's gone full circle to where that man is the heart of the Raiders right now. And I think, Jeff, you were probably a big influence on him as he was growing up.
Well, you know what? He got to see guys like Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, and he got to see the Raiders mystique. Now, when we went down there, you know, the fans embraced us and took us under their wings, and we had that beautiful Coliseum, and we tried to play our hearts out for the fans, and the fans down there loved us, and he was one of the fans. And, you know, right before the game, we would always go out there. This is what the players would do when we were in L.A. We would go to the tailgate party before the game, get to meet the fans, say hi to the fans as we walked in, because we parked our cars right there by him. As we walked in the stadium, we got to see the fans, and he was a little kid there watching us and outside the game, and then finally came in there to watch us. And, you know, he saw guys like, you know, Howie Long, Todd Christensen, and Jim Plunkett, and some of the great guys, Lester and Haynes. And he saw those guys and he wanted to play and become a Raider, and he is tough. And now, he's taking that mystique and using it in coaching. I so hope the Raiders can keep him in any way they can, because what he did was motivate the guys, brought the guys back from a brink of, you know, because when you lose your coach, you know, you don't know where you're going, but he rallied the guys together and had the guys playing together as one. And that's what you need if you're going to win a championship. And we got to keep that going, because let me tell you something. We won a championship in Oakland. We won a championship in L.A. We need to get a championship in Vegas. That would be great if we could have won this year. You know, it would have been great because Jack Squire was 58, and this is the 58th year. That for him, you know, for Jack, that would have been fantastic. But we're going to keep this going, and we're going to bring that Super Bowl to Vegas, and it's just a matter of time. And he would be the perfect coach for the job.
And it's being played in Vegas this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
Like usually in the media or the coaching, you don't talk about your favorite team because you never know where you're going to work and stuff. And I used to take a foam finger to the press conference. I was like, I'm a Raider fan, I don't care. But seeing Antonio Pierce with his Raider-ness, and there's something about that. It's hard to motivate NFL players. These guys are millionaires. And yet you find a way to make these guys play hard for you. There's something there, man. It really is. You
gotta have it. And you know what I say? Well, it's not only the guys getting a little money, but what it is that it's hard to get 50-some guys to play as one. And if you can get them to play as one and motivate them and get that going, that's very unique. And that's what I love about the 49ers and the teams of old, like Pittsburgh. You know, they keep those guys going. They keep it high. They keep that spirit, and they keep it together for the whole season, because it's hard. You know, everybody, they have problems, kids, wives they got to deal with. And then, you know, they got to make sure they take care of the business on the field. And for some people, it's hard for them to do. But I'm just glad that we have a coach now that can motivate the guys and get them going. And I hope that Mark feels it in his heart to keep it going, because, you know, it all started with Tom Flores. You know, when John Madden left, we thought we were going to get a coach from back east somewhere. But, you know, we got it right there in our range. We had Tom Flores, and we took it to another level. But you know what? Because we had Tom, they didn't think we could do it. Everybody was putting us down. Oh, they got Tom Flores. Oh, they're not going to do it. Man, and we showed them we can do it. And matter of fact, John Madden has a championship, but Tom Flores has two. And he's in the Hall of Fame. And, you know, that's what I'm talking about. I played with Hall of Fame coaches, Hall of Fame players. Let me tell you something. And, you know, I love going. I want everybody to go to the Hall of Fame just to visit it and just to see the mystique of the Hall of Fame, because it's hard to get guys to play as one and do what they do, to be a champ and to be a Hall of Famer. And if they go and see that, they will love it.
Well, I heard the best way to really get to know the players is to go on the 9th annual Legends Cruise that's happening. What's the phone number again for that?
Well, let me tell you something. It's, go to Facebook at 9th Annual Raider Legends Cruise, and it's 702-277-3574. Now,
And ask for
Go
Erica.
ask for Erica. And, and if you can't get Erica, try to get me. Just say, hey, where's Big Jeff? Say, I don't want to go on that cruise with Big Jeff. And let me tell you something. We got Kenny King, who I played with again in college because he was at Oklahoma. I played against Kenny. He beat our butt. Those Oklahoma boys are pretty tough. And I got Kenny King. We got Jerry Robinson, Mervin Fernandez. Mervin Fernandez is in the Hall of Fame in Canada. Mervin Fernandez. He's a man. He's moving and grooving. And then
will he bring his fishing pole on the trip?
But let me tell you something. Man, bring your clubs, your poles, whatever you want to bring. We're going to have a ball. And let me tell you something. We got Jerry Robinson. Man, I love Jerry. Let me tell you, if you want to talk to a guy who's very knowledgeable about football, you talk to Jerry Robinson. And we're just going to have a ball. And then you talk to the man himself, the entrepreneur. You just covered Mr. Las Vegas, Frank Hawkins. He's my man. He's the man. Frank Hawkins was a city councilman of Las Vegas. And now Frank Hawkins is the man. And what he's helping us do is put this cruise together because he turned me on to Erica, who is putting this thing together. And we're trying to get it going. So I want more people to get on board because we're going to have a ball. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to be saying, how did I ever miss this?
Hey, Jeff, take me back to 1977. You're a rookie. You're putting on that Raider gear for the first time, probably a preseason game. I mean, you're putting on it and you're looking at all these guys that you've watched all your life. What did that feel like when you're about to take the field and you're in the locker room?
Man, let me tell you something. I'm glad you asked that question because I went out there, I was running up and down the field, and I was so tired. And I was pumped to sat on the bench. I said to myself, I don't know if I'm getting paid enough for this game. I was so tired. I was so beat up. I said, I don't know if I can make this. I went in the locker room at halftime, and there's Fred Biletnikoff sitting in the corner, smoking a cigarette, just kicking back. And I just said, hell. And he was about 100 years old then. And so I'm saying to myself, if Freddie can do it, I can do it. So I sucked it up and went out there and ran down on kickoff and tried to hit as many people as I could hit. So that's what I'm telling you. Those kind of things, man, you think about, you didn't know how you was going to do it, but you had to get it done.
Yeah. So in your career, I want to hear the hardest you got hit and the hardest you hit somebody.
Man, let me tell you something. I'm glad you said that, man.
All right.
I'm going to tell you how the hardest I got hit first. I'm running down on kickoff. Boogity, 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 boogity. Now, I'm running the running back, catches the ball. He runs to my left. So I'm taking off to the left. Lo and behold, there was a blocker outside waiting for me. He was just waiting. He hit me so hard that I could see the lights of the Coliseum. As I was floating through the air, I could hear the wind go. As the wind flew by, and I could see my 2 itty-bitty feet. And then I hit the ground, boom. And I said, man, did somebody get the number of that truck?
And it wasn't even a penalty then, was it?
No, my goodness, it was a penalty, but it's a penalty now because I saw it the other night. I got cracked that block, and the guy had a 15-yard penalty. But I had no idea that was coming, but he set me up. And I got hit. I tell the little kids, I can see my feet, I can see the Coliseum lights, and I can hear the wind go. And I hit the ground, boom.
Do you remember who that was?
Huh?
Do you remember who that was?
It was a truck.
I don't know. Well, I said, did anybody get the number of that truck? Because I didn't.
All right, but what's the best hit you think you gave?
Oh, man, let me tell you something. I had some great hits, man. But let me tell you the best one that I had. I was playing my rookie year, and we playing against the Miami Dolphins, and we're going against Zonka. So, I played a little D-line when I was at Cal. So they said, Jeff, get in there, D-line. So I go in and tackle. So I'm twos on one side, Charles Filia on the other side, and I'm in the middle. And so I said, oh, my goodness. I look up, and there's Zonka. And he's coming at, all I could see coming at me was a helmet, shoulder pad, and 2 little itty-bitty feet. And they was coming right at me. And so as I go out there, I said to myself, I can see me hitting him stepping on my chest, going in for the touchdown. I said, I don't want that to be on the highlight. So I said, fire. So I fired down. I hit him with shoulder pads, and I hit his shoulder pads, and I got down and hit him, and he went down on the 1 yard line. I said, whew, I made it here for 1 more week. Hey, I'm what happened to my with Janelle? Where's Janelle? Janelle, I want my computer. Work on my computer.
Oh, no, you're fine.
We're fine? I got I can't see. I lost Mitch.
No, but I'm still here.
Oh, you still there?
Yeah, it's all good.
It's good.
Mitch, now, when was the first time you met Jeff?
Ooh, Jeff and I, probably 2000. And we did the Legend show together. And from that moment forward, between Jeff, his wife Anita, the children, they became like family.
Right.
And my niece and Jeff's daughters are good friends. And yeah, it was just family.
Jeff, did your kids get to see you play?
No, my kids were too young. They were too young, and I had my son. He didn't know what was going on. He would go in there and grab hot dogs and stuff. He wasn't watching me, but they were kind of young back in the days, But
right.
My grandkids, they're going to see a lot of film. I'm going to make sure those linebackers get some techniques and how to cover out of the backfield, because that's where the money is. You got to be able to cover those running backs out of the backfield. You got to be able to move and groove and run. I tell everybody, you don't watch their head because they'll fake you out with their head moves. You watch their hips, and don't watch their feet, because their feet, you got to watch their hips. And then when they make that final break, you put your hand out and knock it away.
I was walking with my girlfriend the other day, and I was watching this other woman's hips, and I got in trouble for that.
That's another game.
You got to put an eye patch on.
Can you watch hips on this cruise? That's okay though on the cruise though, right?
I just want you to watch, and I just want you to watch that glass and have them fill it up every chance you get. Get you something to drink, and make sure you have some fun, because that's what the cruise is all about, having fun.
Can I tell a Jeff Barnes story?
Yes, I want to hear it.
Please do. I want to hear it myself.
Oh my God, it was a Thursday night, and Cal was playing USC, and Rod Martin had come up, because the game was there was a Raider game on the weekend, and they called me and they said, Mitch, come to Ricky's.
Oh my God.
We're watching the Cal Stanford game. I mean, Cal's USC game.
USC.
And so I go, man, I look up, and our entire table is covered with glasses that we had. And I'm like, how do I get home? And Jeff's like, you better call a taxi.
Yeah.
But man, I had so much fun with these guys. And I don't know, I was a wreck the next day, and they got together the next day. I don't know how they did it, but
they're Raiders. They can do it.
That's right.
They all have hollow legs. And that's what they told me. You got to develop a hollow leg. And I never developed that leg, Jeff. You still need to show me how to do that.
Yeah.
But think about Rod Martin and Jeff Barnes. You guys were kind of the start of, hey, now we want linebackers that are fast too. Because, I mean, you guys were big, but you also had the speed, and it kind of changed the position, I think.
Yeah, what happened was we had Willie Hall. Willie Hall was pretty quick. He had fast, and we had Rice, and we had Phil Filippiano and Ted Hendricks. Fantastic. But Ted Hendricks was, he was one of those smart, tough players. Played in the '60s, and he knew how to finesse a guy, and how to hit him just right, and he know when to get off and when to make that interception. He was a smart player, and he was tough, and he wasn't that fast, but he made it happen. And then what my game involved, when you had guys like Marcus Allen, you had Bo Jackson, and then you had Earl Campbell, those guys coming out of the backfield and catching the ball. They were catching it for touchdowns. And who had to come from? The linebackers. So what we did was, what was Charlie Sumner was so smart with being with the Raiders, he took out a linebacker and he would put in a safety, the Otis McKinney or Mike Davis, and he would put those on the tight ends and cover the tight end one-on-one, or the back one-on-one. We had to make that switch. That's what happened with Jack, because there's no way that Matt Millen could have covered that back out of the backfield. So he took Matt out, put Jack Squarick in to get back to Jack, who we love and we miss dearly. He jumped in front of that ball and intercepted and went in for a touchdown. And that started what they call a pirate defense. And where they would take a player out and put another player in. They do it to this day. And you saw it first with Charlie Sumner and Jack Squarick.
Yes.
Who was the biggest trash talker you played against?
Oh my God! Let me tell you something, man. I tell the story. They were all trash talkers, but the best one we had on our team was Lao Zato. That Lao Zato. Let me tell you something. He was the meanest man I ever knew. Now I say, guys, I love him to death. He was tough on the field, off the field, but on the field, he was the meanest man I ever knew. He would talk smack, and then he would grab your helmet, take it off your head, and hit you with your own helmet. That's how tough he was. I'm like, that Lao Zato was a tough guy. So he was one of the toughest guys I ever knew. Howard was a tough character. And, we had Greg Townsend, some good guys. Charles Field, y'all. We had some tough guys on our team, man, that were good hitters, good ball handlers, and good tacklers.
Well, I noticed the pads in the 70s and 80s were a lot bigger. And I look now, and the guys look like they wear short pants and small shoulder pads.
Well, you know what? I noticed that too, but I'm glad that I wasn't there because, they probably have a lot of shoulder injuries. But if you have those smaller pads, it gives you a little bit more speed, and you have to cover the backside of the backfield. So that's what happened. The linebackers nowadays have to cover the backside of the backfield more, so they have to lose some of that weight. And because we had the big bulky, I had lineman pads because I make sure, I'm hitting a guard on one side, I'm hitting a fullback on this other side, and then I got a running back coming straight up the middle. So you had to have some protection, big guy.
And they whistled, and the pads whistled because there was so much stuff. It was like, you could hear it.
Too, we had pads under pads. There's pads under the pads that you put on the pad. So, we were ready to go. So we was ready to hit a bus. So we could have hit a bus and then we would have broke it.
Well, Filipiano said he used to put a cast on his hand and then tape that up.
Man, let me tell you something. Those guys had all kind of Ted Hendricks and Phil Filipiano. They would put a pad and they would tape those pads all the way up. That whole side would be pads, and then they would throw a rip. Well, they had to outlaw the rip, but they would rip up. When they would rip, the guy hit him in the stomach, knock the wind out of him. They you couldn't move for about 2 minutes. So, they had to outlaw that. But those guys were tough. That was the old school 60s stuff right there. I learned the old school stuff.
Yeah. Now, speaking of pads, how often did you guys pad up during the week in practice? Was it every day?
No. We had Mondays off. We got cruise with Tuesdays on Tuesday, just cruising. And then Wednesdays was offensive day. And Thursday was defensive day. And then Friday was special teams. And then we get ready, we fly out on a Friday and we get there on Saturday and we do over a little special teams, might go through a little walkthrough. And then it was over, and then we go to watch a movie the night before the game. And then the next game, Sunday, we go out there hitting, man. Yeah, those are the days. But
were you scared about Davis at first, and then you became friends? I mean, because there's a respect thing,
Never was afraid. It was just like I knew he was the boss. And what I loved about Al was when you had something to say to Al, you go talk to him right there on the field, and you say you want to talk about something. You just go right after practice or right there. He'll talk to you right there on the field. A lot of guys, when you had these owners, they had to go to downtown to these 12-story, these multi-offices up above. They get an elevator, go up and then they sat at this desk. They had to look over the desk. They couldn't see, and and then they would hash out what was going on. But with Al, if you want to talk to him, you talk to him right there on the field, and say whatever you had to say. And that's what I loved about him. You just take care of business right there.
Did you ever get to hit OJ or Terry Bradshaw or
oh my God, OJ scared me. He's scared of me, man. OJ scared of me. We had played OJ Simpson. We played the 49ers preseason game my first year, and I got a chance to hit OJ. It was fantastic. And Barry Sims and like I said, Earl Campbell, Zonka. Man, I had to hit the best of the best. Man, You better hit them because I'm telling you, you didn't want to be on a highlight film with them stepping on your chest going in for a touchdown. So you better hit them. You better get your job done.
A second ago, you mentioned what happened on Tuesdays. What happened on Tuesdays?
Cruise with the twos.
A cruise. Okay.
When I go to Ensenada, Mexico, and I want you on board. Now, look, Mitch, I want you to get the family and come. I want you to have a good time. I want you to get everybody down. Let me tell you something. I'm so big in Fresno, it's ridiculous.
I know you are.
Gorilla got married in Fresno, and he had his gorilla suit on, and he put a suit over a suit. It was 120 degrees, and he was getting married. I was his best man in his wedding in Fresno. So I knew about Fresno, and we had a great time in Fresno with Gorilla Rilla and his lovely wife. And let me tell you something else. I met his lovely wife. I was doing an autograph signing in Hayward at the Southland Mall, and this little lady come up to me. She said, I'm dating Gorilla Rilla. And I'm saying, you dating the gorilla? Let's see the little cute lady dating that guy, but I had never seen him without his uniform. A lot of people haven't seen him without his uniform. And the first time I got a chance to see him was, God rest his soul, Jack Tatum's when he had his funeral.
Oh, yeah.
He was there, and he came up to me and said, hi. And I'm like, who is this guy? And he said, I'm Gorilla Rilla. That was the first time I saw him without the uniform. But he wears that thing all over.
Everywhere.
He got married in it.
Well, can you imagine if you put on a mask like that? There's he watches games through a little teeny slit in the mask.
Slit, and then, he got to keep drinking water to stay hydrated.
There's got to be some sort of air conditioning in there.
Yeah. It's hot.
My goodness.
He not only had the gorilla suit, he had a 3-piece suit on at his wedding. I'm like, how's a suit in a suit? Oh, it was crazy, but it got done, and we had the best time.
That's awesome.
Speaking of good times,
one more time.
Can you have one on April 5th through 8th?
We're going to cruise to Ensenada, Mexico, and we want you on board. If you get a chance, come on board because you have such a good time. And like I said, I'm talking to Mitch and the guys. We're having a good time here. This is kind of fun we'd have on the ship, and it's like you can't beat it with a stick.
Jeff,
Carnival Cruise.
Before you came on, I told Mitch, I go, well, what's Jeff want to push? He goes, he wants to push the cruise. I go, all right, let's really cruise this thing.
Good man, let's cruise it.
We're telling you about this, and it's perfect. And Jeff, thank you so much for being on the show. And
man, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and get to that cruise. If you want to go, Erica's waiting for your call right now.
At 702-277-3574. Carnival Cruises, April 5th through 8th.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. Let me tell you guys, I love you to death. Now, Mitch, you know I love you. Now,
I love you too. I love the Barnes.
I can't believe, he was at the golf tournament. I remember that golf tournament in Fresno. We had a great time. And it's good to see because, I see so many people, and I'm just glad that, you remember me. And it's so good that we can get together and share this moment together. And if you get a chance, because I know you're a busy man, I want you to come on board and have fun with us on the cruise. I tell you, if you come on that cruise, you will have the best time of your life.
Jeff,
I'll come if you let me wear the ring.
Yeah. Well, hey, Mitch, it's your ring. I'm just holding it for you. You know that.
But Jeff, seriously, we get to meet lots of players and stuff, and not only are you friendly and nice, but it's real. You can tell you love your Raiderness, and it's just so good to have you in a room. It makes the whole thing better, and I appreciate that, man.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And it's not only me. We got guys like I said, Merv Fernandez, Kenny King, and Jerry Robinson. Man, those are good guys too, and those guys love the Raiders and they love our fans, and it's all about making people happy because you know what? You got to give back to the community and give back to the fans, and this is the way I'm going to try to do it.
Another way you give back to the fans is you have the perfect rotation basketball training device. We have Mitch Adams, the professor. Get your kids in the NBA and they'll get on a cruise, and it's that easy.
Easy.
That's it.
And you could take this on the cruise, which is on Carnival Cruise Line, April 5th through 8th out of Long Beach, and use it as a flotation device. Yep.
Iceberg dead ahead. All right. Perfect.
Iceberg.
Not in Mexico. You're fine. Once again, Jeff Barnes, Mitch Adams, I'm Gnarley Charley. Thanks for tuning in to Inside the Patch.
Thank you so much. God bless.
We'll be back with more Inside the Patch on 1430 ESPN, your official home of the Las Vegas Raiders.